Have you ever wondered how property investors get to 10 properties? Well, this episode is for you. It's got data set areas under market value, $7.4 million portfolio of 10 properties. We've bought 6 of them for our client, Steve, this year in the last 6 months. This episode has it all. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Property Banter by Pinnacle Buyers Agents. My name's Michael Lezaja, and this episode is an exciting one. I've had the pleasure of building and scaling this client's property portfolio. So to give you some background, Steve is what I would call a sophisticated investor. He understands scaling a portfolio. He understands what he needs to do. He understands the utilization of trusts. He's got a really good property accountant. He's very, very savvy and educated. He pulls the trigger very quickly, and he's very comfortable in the property space. He came to us, I think it was in May, with 6 properties in his portfolio already. He was working with a large buyer's agency, and he was struggling to acquire properties through them because they were so busy. So they had a long wait list. The wait list is probably 6 to 8 months long. So he probably still might not even have a property if he was still at that buyer's agency. So he has come on board with us, and he's absolutely ecstatic. And we've gone on a buying spree. We've liquidated 2 properties. So he came with 6 properties. We liquidated 2 properties in that portfolio just to free up some cash so that he could go again. And we've taken him to that next level. We've taken him to 10 properties and a $7.4 million portfolio. This is such a great result where, he really needed that change to work with someone who understands portfolio scaling, who understands data set areas, who understands how to buy good value. And if you're not following or guessing, I'm talking about me. We purchased those properties for him, and it's an amazing result. So let's talk about his first property. His first property we purchased for $565,000, and it is just under 1,000 square meter block, backs onto a golf course. This property is in Darwin, and it's a 5-bedroom. It's got a pool, and it's subdividable. Now, at $565,000, it's currently worth in the mid-6s. So he's got $100,000 in equity uplift there in 6 months, which is a great result. And it's renting for $850 a week, right? So $550 purchase, $850 a week. He had to spend a little bit of money on it, about $11K, just to freshen it up, give it a tidy up as the tenants moved out and left a little bit of a mess. But that's where we've seen the opportunity in this acquisition. Steve was okay with that because he understands that we got it at a good price, and he understands that bit of a freshen up will obviously result in that uplift and that good rental return, which he's now getting, and that's positive cash flow. So we've gone on from that acquisition and purchased. These are all purchased in a trust, by the way. Every single acquisition is in a trust. He's got a good broker. He's got a great accountant. And I tell you what, he's got a good buyer's agent. And the next purchase was also in a trust. Now, we went to the data set area that everyone's been raving on about for some time, and we purchased in Carrum Downs. Now, we bought that probably 5 months ago, I think it was, and that was for $700,000. Now, a comparable 3 weeks after we purchased this, which was very like for like in the same street, a few doors down, sold for $755,000, right? So we bought pretty much $55K under value, which was a great result in a tough area to buy in because a lot of buyers agents are there and everyone's trying to snap up whatever's there. Now, we obviously bought off market. Now, those of you who know me know that I love to buy off market deals, and I don't like competition. I don't like Saturday open house competition. I don't like auction competition. I like to buy off market and undervalue where we can, and we've done that very much so here with Steve's portfolio. Now, Carrum Downs has obviously grown a fair bit. It is a hot part of Melbourne. There's parts of Melbourne that are cold and warming up, but Carrum Downs, absolutely on fire. And that property, there's just been a comparable hit. He received a message from one of the agents that comparable there just hit for $850,000, right? So he's up $150,000 there. We bought at the right time. Market's done the heavy lifting. We bought under market value as well. And it's that combined under market value with data set area that just provides you with that great growth where you don't actually need to renovate. You don't need to add value. You don't need to add a bedroom, put in a new kitchen to get your equity uplift. It's buying at the right time, buying under market value, and that combination results in that extra deposit, to now go buy again. This data wasn't around in the old days, right? So we're living in a different time now where we can utilize data, buy in these right areas that are growing a great deal and are turning into hotspots. And they've got a lot of buyer's agent activity as well. Very, very, owner-occupier, nice style of areas, but have a lot of investors flocking to them because they're on, Hashtag or some of the other data platforms as well. So that's where that equity uplift has come about, and there's $150,000 there in that right now in just a matter of months. So that's a great purchase. So we've gone and then purchased again for $700,000, and this is in the suburb of Albury in New South Wales. So the border town of Albury-Wodonga, and we've purchased a duplex pairing on that. Now, they're not joined. They're one behind the other, but it's on 1,000 square meters of land as well. It is a great cash flow play. This is a cash flow play investor style stock, but it's very well built. Good brick, concrete slab, brick and tile properties. So market rent for this is sitting around the $800 per week mark, and we paid $700,000 for this property. It's worth $800,000. That market is continuing to perform. Anyone that knows it's on the data set, a lot of buyers agents and investors targeting it. There is a very low supply there as well, and it's trending upwards price-wise very, very quickly, and he's in for some amazing growth there. So there's that equity uplift there, and he's got a good cash flow play on that as well. So that's a fantastic result. We have then gone into Hobart. So now Hobart, Tassie, it is going off. There is low supply, and for anyone that is on the fence about Tassie, I think you should seriously consider it. Tassie is very undersupplied, and you can buy a lot of good value for money properties very close to the Hobart CBD for not a lot of money. Decent URSAD scoring, which shows that, wages are solid there. There is no supply. People have money, and property prices have the room for that growth. $600,000 properties can sell for $900,000 because the local market can afford it based on the wages. So we see that market pressure, not just from locals, but from interstate buyers agents and investors on the ground. And that market is going to perform very, very well in the double digits. That is a fantastic purchase there in Glenorchy, or Glenorchy. I don't know how you guys are pronouncing it down there. Glenorchy. Someone put it in the comments and let me know how it is pronounced. So we've picked this up. It's a good, clean brick home that doesn't require renovations because we don't want to be renovating considering, we're living up here. Tassie's far away, and sometimes in smaller places when you're not in the, Brisbane CBD or the Sydney CBD, it can get hard to get trades, right? So I'm not too sure how it is in Hobart right now with trades, but we're not looking to renovate. He's got a considerable portfolio of 10 properties now. So we really don't want to be buying properties that are in need of a lot of major renovation. So this is a good, tidy, clean, rentable property for $665,000 just on the outskirts of the Hobart CBD. It's very, very close. Good URSAD scoring. It's in a really good pocket of Glenorchy, which is next to Moona, right? So it's not far from the Hobart CBD. So that's a great purchase. So this property that we've purchased in the suburb of Warrane, just across the bridge there in Hobart, it is a nice area. This is a nice street, and it's got a lot of owner-occupiers that have lived there for quite some time. This property is going to require a coat of paint and some flooring. So we're looking at a 10 to 12K, 10 to 13K spend on this one to get it rented. And yeah, it's got a huge shed, and then it's got a separate shed as well. So the tradies are going to love it. And you know what? For an exit strategy, it's quite good because it will sell to someone who will love those features, right? It's not a standard house without a garage and a shed. It's got plenty of that shed and storage space in it. Now, this property was purchased for $650,000. The bank valuation came back at $700,000, $50K under market value in a blue chip suburb in Hobart that is performing well. So we're very happy with that acquisition as well. To recap on everything, buying properties. Oh, hang on, I've missed one. I've missed one. My apologies. Let me go back. And in the middle there was a cracking purchase. Now, I want to tell you about this. So the suburb that I clearly forgot to insert, it's right in the middle, is the suburb of Banks. Now, we have purchased a property for Steve in the suburb of Banks. We have been purchasing multiple properties in that area, and we've been doing so. One of them is for the boys at H-Tag, and we were responsible for their latest acquisition as their buyer's agents. They use Pinnacle, and we purchased one for them there for $775,000. And yeah, I went literally the next week, bought another one for our client Steve for $700,000. Pretty close as a comparable to that one that I purchased for the boys at H-Tag. And yeah, it's $700K. It was kind of even a better deal than the one I bought for the boys, right? It just so came up and it was off market and it was under market value and it just happened to be a cracking deal. And Steve, of course, being Steve, was like, yep, not a problem. Let's take it. And that was it. So that just settled like a couple of weeks ago. And that's $100,000 up, right? That's an amazing result. Literally $100,000 up. And that's an amazing result as well. So that's another one in there that I forgot as I went down the line. Now, in total, we've purchased $3.98 million worth of property for Steve in the last 6 months. An estimated $500,000 in equity under market value. Now that's $4.48 million added to his portfolio that now sits at $7.4 million. 10 properties, $7.4 million total portfolio value. That's 12.6% in the last 6 months. That $500,000 is 12.6% in 6 months. That's annualized at 25%. That's an amazing result. That's an amazing result. Now, 6 properties added to his portfolio, average of $75K equity on each property. And they're in data set areas and they're all going up in value. This is such a great result. And whether you're starting out or you're a serious investor who needs to take it to the next level, this is a great example of what we've done with Steve's portfolio and taken it now to the 10. We've not only gained an amazing client that is on his way. He's already done big things, right? He's on his way to the $10 million portfolio, and I'm grateful that I've had the chance to build this so quick. And yeah, so if you are out there struggling with your buyer's agent and you need someone to execute, buy you great deals, good data set areas, under market value, scale your portfolio with experience and knowledge and help you execute that in a timely manner, definitely we are able to help. I think some of the key takeaways from this as well in regards to the mindset of Steve, for those of you looking to level up and become this type of investor, you need to educate yourself. Everyone starts somewhere. You know, I started somewhere as well. So did Steve, and I'm sure you did too. I think educating yourself as much as possible on borrowing, lending, and he's utilizing trust structures for pretty much every purchase. And that's because he's come that way through his accountant to us because they already have their strategy in play and I'm just executing it right. I didn't have to advise him on anything. He already knew what he wanted. And I was the one that executed the right properties in the right data set areas to scale and build that property portfolio. So I think leveling up as much knowledge as you can is the key to being like Steve and then utilizing a good buyer's agent to execute that. So that's an amazing result. 10 properties by October 2025. And I just had a chat with him now and I just said, you know, once upon a time, that would have been such a big thing. I said, let it sink in because it is truly amazing. So started with 6 properties, sold 2, we acquired 6. He's on 10, $7.4 million. We've made $500K in equity on those purchases for him, 12.6% in 6 months or that's an annualized return of 25%, right? So this is why he pays me my buyer's agent fee because of this. And we have another amazing client on our books that's doing amazing things. What I love about this is Steve is not just a number. He's not one of our clients. He's a lifelong friend. You know, we talk on the phone on Saturdays and after hours and you know, he's only started work with us recently. And this is the sort of results I want for my clients. And these are the sorts of friendships that I love making in my role. And this is where my role is very fulfilling. And this is why I enjoy doing what I do, results like this and meeting people like this. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. And until next time, take care.